From your personal experience, what was the single most valuable business opportunity or partnership that Hong Kong offers, and what lessons did you learn from that experience?
Thanks, Bonnie. That's a hard question because there are so many when I think back at the opportunities that Hong Kong has given me. I guess like everybody else on the panel, I've been going back to Hong Kong probably 2 or 3 times a year for the last 10 years. And the first time I went, it was, wow, this place is amazing. I mean, you look at what I term it as is it's a very low friction opportunity to access the Chinese market. So when you go to the shows, I particularly went to the electronic shows that occur in the spring and autumn, so around April and October. And the amount of innovation, the amount of suppliers that come over from China was just incredible. So rather than having to go to the Canton Fair or Guangzhou, which is huge in itself, it's pretty much a microcosm of what you can see in China, but condensed into Hong Kong. And Hong Kong is vibrant, easy to get around, easy to travel. It was fantastic for me. So in terms of my e-commerce life, I've had a lot of lived experiences that Bonnie has mentioned about Hong Kong. Everything she said is pretty much true, and I've experienced it in real life. I've started with things like jewellery, so we did Swarovski jewellery to start with in the e-commerce field. We migrated over to consumer electronics, pretty much, maybe not as you, Mark, but throwaway technology products, wireless chargers, AirPods, smartwatches, all these sort of things that people were getting into, and moved into medtech recently. So I guess coming back to the question, Bonnie, what was one thing that sort of stands out? It's probably around the medtech. So around the time when the COVID pandemic hit Australia, all the factories that I was dealing with for electronics were telling me to buy thermometers, oximeters, and KN95 face masks. I thought, what are you guys talking about? We're okay in Australia, we don't need to do it. Anyway, I got a shipment to come into Australia, and looking at the KN95 face masks, I was probably one of the only ones to have it for like 3 to 6 months in Australia. So we were supplying public hospitals, private hospitals, and all people. It was like gold, I guess, to have that product for people, if you can remember back to those days. So I guess in terms of to sum it up, it's pretty much that Hong Kong really has its finger on the pulse. So it doesn't matter what sector you're in, what products you're looking at, they're really ahead of the game. They're on the trend line, and you can really pick any sort of sector that you're interested in and find it pretty much in Hong Kong. And the ease of doing business, it's less friction. So there's no issue with language, there's no issue with financing, and there's a lot of IP development that occurs. So, but I guess the KN95 face mask stands out for me because it was very important for a little while there in Australia having that stock available.
Thank you, Matty. Sophie, Yuma has successfully grown from a technology retailer into a major Australian business. Can you share a specific experience where engaging with suppliers and partners in Hong Kong created a competitive advantage for Yuma?
So as you guys know, previously we are mostly our product is actually laptops and also consumer goods, for electronic goods. For example, like the keyboard and mouses, and you got your PC, right, and memories. But if we have a large goal, we want to be the Amazon of Australia, right? But how can we sourcing, these products besides laptop? Because laptop we have like 20 years relationship with NVIDIA, Microsoft, Intel, blah blah blah, all these global supplier. But as now, China has quite a lot of innovations in consumer goods, especially electronic. For example, like the small watches, right, and also there's something some pin that you can put on your shirt to actually record what you say, and then using AI to turn into like notes for you, right? So all these amazing products has been inside China. So just to reach out this goal and maybe to be listed not only inside Australia but maybe outside Australia and NASA, we need more things to be listed in our platform. So this is how Hong Kong's coming to help us with this. Because I remember last I think it's April, right? So Bonnie invited me to the Hong Kong Electronic Trade Fair as well as the Hong Kong X InnoX events. So in that event, I actually discovered lots of partnership. For example, like I'm looking for some little robots who can clean the floor, right? So I can maybe list it in the consumer goods in my robot, so that our 3 millions of users can buy from it, and also some of the commercial goods, for example, like these delivery robots, robot dogs, and security cameras, security system that can be implemented, which with good quality, but maybe less pricing, and which can list it, and also we can sell to our consumer customers. We do have, there's thousands of the good products in that electronic fair. So after I come back from the electronic fair, so we do form up a relationship with this company, listed company named Tuya, and this one is doing an IoT platform and inside China, right? So, and UMod, we value the innovations. So that's why I say why we, because Bonnie's team has introduced us to Tuya. So I'm thinking why we are not, doing some partnership with Tuya. So that's why we create like IoT platform that the electronic goods that has been authorized by that IoT platform, you can just buy it, and also you download the application with one time, and all these things has been set up. So this is our, projects we are running with Tuya right now, right? So thanks for Bonnie, and because we go to the airport's electronic fair, so this kind of cooperation and partnership can happen. Yeah.
Thank you, Sophie. Now, Cici, through your work advising business owners, could you share a case where a company successfully expanded internationally through Hong Kong?
Thank you, Bunny. Actually, I have this story that I want to tell, and not actually of a success story, but I will talk about the success later. But it's actually a lot of Chinese listed companies or private high net worth individuals. They tend to, basically invest in a Hong Kong company, like a listed company or private company, and use Hong Kong to actually invest in Australian companies or elsewhere internationally. So thanks to Bonnie, I was able to attend one of the Belt and Roll events. So we, with the matching, and back then was actually online matching. So, talking to people in Hong Kong who are wanting to invest in particularly some technology companies or things like that. But even before that, I was helping a listed multi-billion-dollar sort of Chinese company listed in Hong Kong, but they're looking at childcare centers in Australia. So because I did such a good job, actually stopped their investment because the original, the seller DD was done by one of the big four, but they did such a poor job that the actual valuation should have been half the valuation. They asked for $100 million, but it should have been only valued at $50 million. So then we went back to the investment committee in Hong Kong and decided that's not a project we want to go forward. But then we looked at other opportunities as well around Australia, which is what I think a lot of companies in Hong Kong or in China, they're very open to looking at various opportunities. So they're not sort of set on one thing. They're very open to different opportunities. So I had quite a few experiences like that, the childcare center experience. But in terms of success, I did actually did do a bit of online search, and I found, like for example, Alibaba and Financial, they both have their Asia headquarters in Hong Kong now. They bought one of the big buildings. But in terms of, then it's like they then do everywhere around the world, right? That's the headquarters in Asia. But an Australian company, Kmart, right? We know Kmart. Kmart's everywhere. They have their food, a lot of their products. Now they actually have one of their global sourcing centers out of Hong Kong. Instead of, they have 3 global sourcing centers, one of them is in Hong Kong. Numerous companies like that, yeah.
In terms of investment, you may not know that Hong Kong has consistently ranked number 5 as the FDI foreign direct investors in Australia. Consistently ranked
but this year, the first 6 months, Hong Kong actually IPO'd over 10 billion US dollars, and Australia in the same period only 1.5 billion. And we are how many times? It was 27 million versus 7 million, 8 million people there. Yeah. So it's a very diverse and vibrant market there. I think they also have 71 billionaires. Australia have 47.
Okay, let's move on to Terence with Smart AI Connect Hong Kong. Now, Terence, having worked in Hong Kong's technology ecosystem, can you share a personal example of how Hong Kong enable a technology company to scale faster, attract investment, or access regional markets?
So I think for startup, the biggest issue is like the lack of money. I mean, most of startup lack of money. So I think first is Hong Kong is a financial center, so it's a lot of like venture capitals and private equities. So which means you've got a lot of opportunities to talk to different investors in different stages. So I think that's very important. And the other one is like they are offering a lot of opportunities like InnoX, and also like I also get invited by Max and for the financial week or something. Yeah, so something like that. So for fintech company, for different industry, they actually have different industry activities, so which is very good. And also because Hong Kong, they doing a lot of IPO, and a lot of large Chinese companies, they are doing IPO in Hong Kong. So which means a lot of Chinese large companies, they set up their global headquarters in Hong Kong. So which means you have a lot of opportunities to go access to mainland China through Hong Kong market. So from the InnoX this year, so we actually getting in touch with a lot of large companies like Hong Kong Broadband Network, Hong Kong Telecom, and China Mobile, and Hikvision, a lot of like large companies, not only in Hong Kong but also in mainland China. So if you want to reach it out, in China, individually, and I think it's quite difficult. And another thing is like because Chinese market is too big. So for a startup or for a technology company, if you don't have a very clear positioning, and then you're gonna find it's very hard to enter Chinese market, because in China it's already got so many companies. They are very competitive, so it's not that friendly market over there. So but in Hong Kong, it's actually in between of Western and China, so it's actually a bridge. Like it's quite like as mentioned, like you got no language barrier over there, and also easy to go through Hong Kong, and also you can also like financial easily, like if you earn money and you can get it out like straight away. Like in China it's a little bit different. Yeah. So I think it's Hong Kong is a very good place. Especially they also offering a lot of like funding opportunities, like Hong Kong, Shenzhen Science Technology Park, and also like they have different program for like AI or different industries. So I really suggest like people, if you have a need for funding or something, you can go for Bonnie and to see there's like opportunities in Hong Kong.
Thank you, Terence. Let me assure you that I didn't pay them to say that. Okay, now let's go on to the discussion. I'll throw around a few questions and then invite you guys to contribute to chip in here. The first question is for companies that are considering international expansion going overseas. What are the most compelling reasons to use Hong Kong as a launchpad into Asia?
Let me start, if that's okay. Yeah, as I said, being a Westerner on the panel at this stage, it is the less friction element of Hong Kong is incredible. As Terence pointed out, in terms of doing business with China, there is a language barrier, there is an issue with competitiveness with a lot of the companies. Whereas Hong Kong, they really embrace whether it's the Western or the Australian sort of lifestyle and your approach to it. So, and I see so many synergies with what Hong Kong people think and what they're doing with their strategies. And I'm working on a medical device at the moment. The co-founders are in Hong Kong, and we've got the MOUs to launch in Australia. What they talk about in Hong Kong is exactly what we're going to do in Australia. So it's it's almost a sandpit environment that they can test a lot of the strategies out in Australia, and then we can roll it out in Hong Kong, and then the Greater Bay Area and the rest of China and all that, I guess. So that's my lived experience perspective on that.
Yeah, I want to add that to that. So besides, for example, the very good, business environment, I will emphasize on, how good I have been beneficial as an investor, as enterprises from Hong Kong governments. Really are so helpful. So, for example, like previously, I was working in Texas Tech Venture. We're trying to invest in some of the, Asia startups, right? And also we are trying to also raise some money from the to lend their foundings at Hong Kong. So we're reaching out to Hong Kong government. So there's an innovation department under Hong Kong government, right? So Bonnie is in charge of the trade and development, and there's another one, and she's in charge of the innovations and the startups development inside Hong Kong government. So that department actually, he gave us some of the foundings to open the SWC Startup Workshop event inside Hong Kong. And also they introduced us a lot of investors. So every time I will land in Hong Kong and I have this meeting with this friendly guy named CY, you may know him, right? And CY is going to introduce a bunch of people, including the potential LPs, the startups, right, and also anyone who can help you with your business. And the same here from Bonnie as well, because after Rachel introduced Bonnie to me, and Bonnie reached out to say, hey, how can we help you, Mott? So I say, oh yeah, because we're trying to grow our business, and also we're trying to expand our SKUs on our website. So maybe we're trying to source in more of the product, for example, like electronic goods, right, and also some of the pets, small electronic, and also gardening tools, anything that is maybe around unicorn to listed company, but they have a very good quality product inside China and Hong Kong. And Bonnie just introduced me a bunch of people as well, and also she also offered me the chance to actually fly to Hong Kong to meet these people, and also arrange from hotel meetings and every day, right? So helpful. Anything that maybe you want, I don't know, if you want to do business inside China, or test if your products, maybe successful inside Asia, or if you're looking for startup for the investment, or even you're trying to raise from the Hong Kong investor, that you can just reach out to Hong Kong government, reach out to Bonnie. Super helpful, super helpful.
Very busy after today. Nero, do you have anything to add, or?
Yeah, just a really quick one about the matchmaking platform as well, out of the Belt and Road, and that is the next level. It's really, really good. Yeah, because you just put in your requirements and they will match it up for you, and then just get on to the meetings. We didn't have the opportunity to get the meetings in person, but online is equally as good. We all used to that now. So
It's very efficient.
yeah, very efficient. Yeah.
You have anything to add?
Yeah, I think the Hong Kong is a little bit different to mainland China. I think if you think to China, right? Chinese government is quite powerful, and you can't really reach the people who can quickly helping you, or if your company are not in the right size. I mean, if you are a super large company, you can find the right people, mayor, or some people to helping you. But if you are not in a very big scale, so I think Hong Kong would be a perfect place. You can start if you want to step into Asia or into China. Not only China, I mean a lot of Thailand, it's all a quite powerful government. But I think Hong Kong they're more service government. So everyone is really caring people, especially Bonnie. Because she's in Australia for I think 30 years.
Over 30 years.
Yeah, so she understands Australian business, and also she understands what kind of contact or connections you need in Hong Kong. So I think, yeah, it's not an advertisement, but yeah, it's true.
Before I joined TDC, I actually worked in the tech. I worked with AT&T in the corporate world, so I understand all the business as in a business. I mean, all these really stuff. And having been in this role for quite some time, I have seen the whole cycle. So it's been very interesting. But well, in the interest of time, maybe a few more questions. Now, we talk about all these good things, but what do you see are the sectors that present the strongest opportunities for Australian business?
I think that was my question. Thank you. I can, there's a list of sectors I thought about from a tech perspective.
Yeah.
You know, obviously the biotech sector, that is a really good sector. But you know, I think the clean tech energy one is a really good one as well. Climate technology. The second one is Australian one is actually quite good we're quite good on agriculture technology. So agri-tech, agri-food, that type thing. You know, Australian food, seafood, and stuff like that. That's a very good brand internationally. Then there health tech and biotech and medical. So that's the third one. The fourth one is education and edutech. Australian education has, you know, still a very good international brand. So for people to come over, even though the Australian government has been quite restricting on the international students, narrowing down the number of students. But it could still be good. The number 5 I have here is digitech and AI. So AI obviously it's around the world, and advanced manufacturing. You know, Australia is not big on the heavy manufacturing, but we're quite good in advanced manufacturing. One of the startups I know, they do, you know, sort of fingertip, that kind of technology, and bio imaging, and they're actually, the technology is manufactured here in Logan, and it's used by the Hong Kong and China border. So, and they're used around the world as well. So you wouldn't know, because it's quite, you know, hush-hush, they don't tell the world about it, but it happens. The next one I think is fintech. Fintech is quite a big one. We talked about 8,000 startups, or 5,000?
5,200.
5,000 startups. Apparently there's 1,200 of them are in fintech. And Australia has 800 fintechs. So that's a good area for collaboration, definitely. So that's the one I can find.
Anything?
Maybe I can add up, because I'm the one who can see the back data. Who purchased most from us? Which industry? First one is server. So because Australia is gonna be coming the next generation of the data centers, you can see that Microsoft, AWS, all these big giants invest heavily on the server part, on the data center part. So this part is going to be booming. But related to that, there's another sector, because data center need electronic. But however, because infrastructure here, right, and also Australian governments that they will not invest that much of money on infrastructure. So in the future, it's gonna be, you know, when you have a data center that, or is a commercial kind of electronic generator, which is related to solar panel and new energy. So these two sectors are what I say from my technical say that's buying a lot of things from us. So maybe the next trending industry inside Australia.
I think the other one is AI. So, Terence, with artificial intelligence and digital transformation reshaping the industries globally, how can Australian businesses leverage Hong Kong's ecosystem to accelerate the AI adoption, product development, or regional market access, specifically related to AI?
I think the first thing is like learning. Like, you know, I think in Australian market, as I mentioned to, you know, another speaker, like, you know, Australian market is just a little bit laid back. You know, like it's not on the first tier, obviously, and also for large Australian companies, they start changing, but they're not apply the newest AI technology. It's not like mainland China, not like Hong Kong, which I think is a good thing and bad thing. So in China right now, the AI regulation and Hong Kong as well, so it's quite loose. So everyone is really keen to do the new application. It will have some mistake in between, but that is how the AI technology develops so fast. From the ChatGPT, I mean, it's only like 5 years, right? And 4 years until now. But then everyone using it every daily, so that's why now they're much smarter than us, right? But I think in our perspective, like Hong Kong, they got the Hong Kong AI Institute. Also in Hong Kong, such a small island, they have a lot of good university as well. So it's like you can working with the top tier university, like the professor not only in Hong Kong, but also they're all from all over the world. So I think also because Hong Kong is like a small island, and it's got a lot of different applications like airport, like logistics center, and all the applications you can find. You want to apply in around the world, you can find in Hong Kong. So it's a very good application field for your companies to do the trial in Hong Kong. Yeah, so that's from my perspective.
That's why Smart AI decided to expand rapidly from Australia to set up in Hong Kong.
Yeah. We already have our first, partners in Hong Kong, and they're exclusive our partner. So also, I think I suggest you might need to find some people or your existing connection, and to find the right people in Hong Kong to helping you. Because I think different markets is just so different. It's really I think guanxi or the networking is very important for you as well. Yeah.
Now, in the interest of time, so maybe one last question before we open to the floor for Q&A. If the audience remembers only one piece of advice from tonight's discussion, what should it be regarding using Hong Kong as a platform for growth in Asia? So maybe Mike, you start first.
Yeah, definitely. I guess again coming back to lived experience, it's the ease of doing business when you travel to Hong Kong, and effectively you're seeing a microcosm of China. So whatever you want to see in China, China is quite big in terms of travel and networking, and as the other panelists mentioned, the state-owned companies are very hard to crack into in terms of getting the right network and all that. Whereas Hong Kong, very approachable. So I guess that the issue is that if you want to start even globally or into China, Hong Kong is a great sort of springboard to actually have a look at whether it's going to work. And there's a lot of similarities with the Australian mindset as well. A lot of people who actually have gone back and are repats in Hong Kong have studied in Australia, so there's an affinity with Australia. Some of them stayed, some of them come back. But there's an Australian way of thinking with a lot of people and a lot of companies in Hong Kong. So I think it's a matter of just saying it's, as I use the word, less friction in terms of doing business within the China sphere.
Maybe I'll add. There are actually 100,000 Australians working and living in Hong Kong. You can easily find an Australian lawyer, accountant.
Well, because China and also I think Asia is a quite complicated market, very competitive, like Terence mentions. So my advice is Hong Kong is gonna be a very good testing ground for any of the product. But before you go there, do asking for experts' help. Yeah, from Bonnie, because judging from my previous experience, some of the industry may fit into the China and Hong Kong market or Asian market, but some of the business are not, right? And also it's a bit, and also very competitive. Already a lot of Chinese companies do it, so what's the point if you enter that market with that kind of, with your business? So do ask for help from expert, and from Hong Kong government, from Hong Kong TDC first, so that you see if your industry fit into Asia's markets. Yeah. anyhow.
That's all right. I think, yeah, so echo what the other speakers are saying. But I think if you wanted to expand to Asia, I would highly recommend that you consider seriously about Hong Kong. You know, obviously there's Hong Kong, there's Singapore, both have their pros and cons. So typically if you wanted to go and check, to foreign set up some sort of Asia headquarter or something, you do an analysis on both, right? You don't just go to Hong Kong, but look at all the benefits, the pros and cons, and not only utilize Hong Kong TDC, but also use the Australian outposts. Every time we went to Hong Kong, we always meet Australian, we meet TIQ, meet the local people there, because some of them actually do provide industry support as well. But same thing. It's a local support that you really need as well. So it's not something that you can just do it quickly. You have to make a really good strategy and then follow the strategy. What you really want out of it? Do you just want sourcing out of it, or do you want to actually make that the center of your strategy? And at the same time, it's not just the I guess all the possible funding options, etc., but also all the other elements like regulatory, like tax, tax structuring. If you're an Australian company, your global income is actually considered. Doesn't matter how good the Hong Kong tax status is. You have to, come back, and if you're a CPA, you know that, right? Or business owner. So yeah, that's my last word. Thank you.
Yeah, so for my suggestion is like, if you are doing your business, you will make sure you are doing the proof of concept in your local market. So not in Hong Kong, not in China, not in some other place. So at least you find the, proof your concept in Australia, because Australia is a quite, multicultural country as well. So you can find Hong Kong people, you can find Chinese people, you can find anyone here if you want proof of your business idea. But I think in Hong Kong and in Asia market, it's a good place to helping you to grow. So once you're ready and you have a good position